Wie Apple Pay das Einkaufen 3x schneller und sicherer macht. Entdecken Sie, wie Apple Pay das Online-Shopping und die Zahlungssicherheit transformiert.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at Apple Pay,
Okay.
and especially how it's impacting the world of e-commerce.
Sounds good.
We've got a whole bunch of different sources to pull from for this one. We've got support articles straight from Apple.
Right.
We've got some interesting tech blogs, and we've even got some insights from a payment platform called Pag Brazil, which is
Interesting.
based in Brazil. So let's
dive in.
let's dive in.
I think one of the things that really jumps out when you look at the big picture is how many people are actually using Apple Pay. Over 500 million users globally. It's not just some small thing.
Yeah.
This is a huge shift in how people are choosing to pay for things. And it's a signal for businesses. If you're not keeping up with these changes in consumer behavior,
Right,
you
yeah.
might get left behind.
Yeah, and it's not even just about convenience anymore, right? Like it's really becoming a whole new way of thinking about commerce. I was reading one article that said something like 87% of shoppers in Brazil use their smartphones for online purchases.
Wow.
Yeah. So you've got this massive market that's already leaning towards these mobile-first experiences. And that's just one country.
Yeah, and you have to wonder what's driving that preference in Brazil. Is it, a lack of trust in the traditional online payment methods? Is it the mobile banking apps that are really popular there? There's a deeper story there.
Yeah, there's a whole cultural context there
Exactly.
we're not even getting into. Okay, so we've got this huge user base, and everyone's on their phones, but how does Apple Pay actually work? I know it uses NFC or something like that.
Right, NFC. Near field communication. Basically, it lets your phone talk to the payment terminal without any wires.
Right.
But the real key to Apple Pay is the security.
Yeah.
They use something called tokenization.
Ah, yes. Tokenization, that's where it gets really interesting.
It's like a secret code system
Right.
that protects your card details.
So instead of like sending your actual credit card number across the network,
Exactly.
it's using this.
It creates this unique one-time use token for each transaction. So it's like giving the store a temporary code to access your account for that one specific purchase.
But even if someone intercepts that token,
Right, it's useless.
it can't be used for anything else.
Exactly. It's like a disposable password.
That's really clever. But tokenization isn't the only security feature.
Right.
Right. There's also this thing I keep seeing called the secure element.
Yes. That's another layer of protection.
Okay.
It's a special chip inside your device
Uh-huh.
that's dedicated to keeping your payment info safe. Like a vault.
So even if someone steals your phone, they can't
Right. They can't get to your payment details.
get to that information.
Nope.
And of course, on top of that, you've got the biometric authentication like Face ID or Touch ID.
Exactly. Multiple layers of security all working together.
That's probably why Apple Pay meets the PCI DSS standards.
Right. PCI, DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard.
Right.
It's a whole set of rules that businesses have to follow when they
Yeah.
handle card payments, all about protecting sensitive info
Right.
and minimizing fraud.
So Apple takes security very seriously,
Very seriously.
which is good for everyone involved.
For sure.
But I'm guessing there's more to the appeal of Apple Pay than just the security aspect.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, for consumers, think about it. The speed and convenience are huge.
Right.
No more digging around for your wallet.
Yeah.
No more typing in card numbers.
Yeah.
Just tap or glance and you're done.
Right.
Plus, you have that extra peace of mind knowing that Apple doesn't actually store your card information.
And for businesses, faster checkouts probably mean happier customers and more sales.
Absolutely. A smooth checkout experience can make all the difference. Fewer abandoned carts, too,
Right.
and less fraud and chargebacks thanks to the security. I was reading a quote from Ralph Germer, the CEO of Pag Brazil. He called Apple Pay a win-win situation for both sides.
That win-win idea really resonated with me too.
Yeah.
It's not just about benefiting one side of the transaction.
Right.
Did you find any examples in your research of like how impactful Apple Pay can be for businesses? Like real-world examples?
Oh, yeah, for sure. There was this one article about a company called Bold Snacks.
Okay.
And after they started accepting Apple Pay on their website,
Yeah.
their conversions went way up,
Wow.
like a game changer.
So even smaller businesses are seeing a real difference.
Definitely. And it's not just online. There was a case study about this big retail chain that saw a big increase in in-store sales after they started using Apple Pay.
Yeah, because people don't like to wait in lines.
Exactly. Especially during those busy times. And then there was another example about a small boutique
Okay.
that started accepting Apple Pay, and they were able to reach a much wider audience,
Oh, wow.
including international customers.
So it's sort of leveling the playing field in a way,
Yeah, I think so.
giving smaller companies a chance to compete. What about restaurants? Did you see anything about restaurants using Apple Pay?
Oh, yeah. Restaurants are using it to speed up table turnover times.
Wow.
People pay quicker and move on, so the restaurant can serve more customers.
It's amazing how these small changes
Yeah,
can impact a business.
absolutely.
So let's say business owners listening to this and they're thinking, okay, I need to get Apple Pay. What would be like the first steps they would need to take?
Well, if they have a physical store, they need to make sure their POS terminals are NFC enabled.
Right, so they can talk to people's phones.
Exactly. And for online businesses, they need to integrate Apple Pay into their checkout.
And there are platforms like Shopify and Stripe
Right.
that make that pretty easy.
Yeah. They handle the technical stuff.
So it sounds like there are a lot of options for businesses,
Definitely.
no matter what size or type.
It's not one size fits all anymore.
And then you've got platforms like Pag Brazil that are specific to certain regions.
Right.
They're the only ones approved by Apple for Apple Pay in Brazil, I think.
Yeah, that's right. They offer all sorts of services too, including multi-acquirer technology.
Multi-acquirer technology, what is that?
It means they can work with lots of different banks and financial institutions, so businesses have more flexibility and maybe even better rates.
So it seems like businesses have a lot of options
A lot of choices.
for integrating Apple Pay,
For sure.
and they could just choose the best fit for their needs.
Exactly.
It's really interesting how payment technology is evolving
Yeah, it is.
and adapting to local needs.
It's really impressive.
It really shows how Apple Pay is pushing the boundaries of commerce.
Pushing the boundaries. But where do we go from here? What does the future hold?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the million-dollar question. Yeah, the sources we looked at definitely seem to think that mobile payments are just going to keep growing.
Right.
Smartphones are becoming such a central part of our lives.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that our wallets would go digital too.
Yeah, totally. I already use my phone for like everything.
Right.
Boarding passes, tickets, loyalty cards. The only thing I don't use it for yet is paying for my coffee in the morning.
Oh,
But, I mean, I'm sure even that's not too far off.
you're probably right. Pretty soon, we might not even need physical wallets at all.
Yeah, imagine that. Just tap your phone to get into a movie or buy your groceries,
Right.
even show your ID.
That sounds pretty convenient.
It does. But I also can't help but wonder, what about people who don't have smartphones? Or people who just prefer to use cash?
That's a good point.
Would they be left behind in a cashless society?
Yeah, that's a crucial point. When we talk about a cashless society, we have to think about accessibility and inclusion.
Right.
We don't want to leave anyone behind.
Exactly. We need to make sure these advancements are benefiting everyone.
Absolutely. It's not just about the technology itself.
Right.
It's about how we use it and who it's serving.
And speaking of, potential downsides, what about security? As more of our financial lives become digital, it seems like there's even more at stake.
Definitely. Security is so important, and the threats are constantly changing.
Right.
As Apple Pay and other mobile payments get more sophisticated,
Yeah.
the people trying to break them are getting more sophisticated too.
It makes you wonder what the next big security challenge will be.
I know, right? One of the articles mentioned AI
Oh, yeah.
and quantum computing,
Wow.
and how those could be used to either really improve security or to create new ways to hack things.
It's like a constant arms race.
Totally.
But let's switch gears for a second and talk about opportunities. What are some exciting things you think we might see in the mobile payment space in the future?
Okay, well, some of the articles talked about Apple Pay becoming more than just a way to pay, like a platform to manage your entire financial life.
Wow.
So think like budgeting tools,
Yep.
personalized offers based on your spending habits,
Right.
maybe even investment options
Wow. So like a personal financial assistant?
right in your pocket.
Yeah. Makes you wonder what's going to happen to banks then.
I know, right? Will they adapt and work with these platforms, or will they become obsolete?
It's changing so fast.
It really is. I feel like we're at a turning point.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting,
Yeah.
but also a little bit scary.
It's understandable to feel that way. Change can be a little unsettling.
Right. Especially when it comes to money.
But change can also be good. It can lead to progress.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that really stuck out to me in the research was the potential impact of mobile payments on global commerce. It seems like it could be a game changer for developing countries.
Yeah, especially in places where traditional banking isn't really accessible.
Right, because mobile payments could help bring more people into the global economy.
Exactly. Even without a bank account.
It's amazing how technology can be used not just for convenience,
Yeah,
but also for social good.
definitely. Leveling the playing field.
But of course, with any powerful tool, there are ethical considerations.
Right.
Like, what about data privacy?
Exactly. As we use mobile payments more, we're giving these platforms more information about our lives.
Our spending habits,
Mhm.
our locations.
Uh-huh.
So we need to make sure that data is protected.
Yeah, and there's also the potential for algorithmic bias.
Oh,
Like, if these platforms start using algorithms to make decisions about loans or credit,
we need to make sure those algorithms are fair.
absolutely. We don't want to perpetuate inequalities.
Right. It's about making sure that technology is serving humanity
That's a good way to put it.
and not the other way around.
Exactly.
Did the sources mention anything about the role of governments and regulators in all of this?
Yeah, they did. It sounds like there's a growing awareness that regulations need to adapt
Right.
to keep up with this rapidly changing landscape.
It's a tough balance, though, right?
Yeah.
Between promoting innovation and protecting consumers.
It's about finding that sweet spot where we can encourage progress, but also make sure it's done responsibly.
Did the sources talk at all about the role of, like, big players like Apple and the potential for new players to emerge?
They touched on it a little, but they didn't go into too much detail.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens. Will we see more partnerships and collaborations?
Yeah.
Or will it be a fight for dominance?
And how will consumer preferences evolve?
Right. Will people choose convenience and familiarity?
Yeah.
Or will they look for platforms that give them more control over their data and privacy?
So many questions. This is such a fascinating topic
It really is.
because it's not just about technology.
Right?
It's about how technology interacts with human behavior and economics
Yeah.
and with societal norms.
And with how we think about what it means to live in a digital world.
Exactly. It's about the convergence of technology and humanity.
Well said.
And the choices we make will shape the future.
Our choices as individuals, as businesses, as a society.
And I think it's time now to bring our listeners into this conversation. So we've talked a lot about Apple Pay, how it works and what it could mean for the future.
The big picture.
But let's bring it back down to earth for a second.
Okay.
What does all this mean for you, the listener?
Right.
As you're going about your day, making purchases, interacting with businesses, what role does Apple Pay play in your life?
Or could it play?
Yeah, or could it play? Have you embraced mobile payments? Or are you still a little hesitant?
Yeah. Are there any concerns you have?
Yeah, what are your biggest concerns or excitements
Right.
when it comes to this technology? We've talked about the convenience and the security, but what really resonates with you? Do you see mobile payments as like a step toward a more equitable financial system?
Interesting.
Or are you worried about the potential downsides?
Yeah.
We really want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
So head over to our social media channels and let us know.
Yeah. Join the conversation.
Because the future of commerce isn't something that's just happening to us.
Right.
It's something that we're all shaping together.
One transaction at a time.
Yeah, one tap at a time.
It's a really dynamic space.
It is.
Okay.
And it reminds us that technology is only as powerful as we make it.
As the intentions behind it.
So as you go about your day, think about the choices you're making, the businesses you support, the ways you interact with money.
Every little interaction adds up.
Yeah, because in a way, every tap, every swipe, every transaction is a vote for the kind of future you want to see.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to invent the next big thing.
Yeah, maybe you'll be the one to revolutionize commerce.
That's a great thought.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Apple Pay.
It was fun.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time for another deep dive
Sounds good.
into another fascinating topic that's shaping the world around us.
See you then.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and